And I've really been enjoying hearing stories from people who have grown them for the first time this year and are verifying just that they are really, really tasty. What's up, Lazy Dog fam? I hope everybody out there is having a wonderful day. It is Monday, November 14th here in South Georgia. Pretty cool day out here. I've had my jacket on all day, and I can't remember a day yet this fall where I've had to wear my jacket all day long. So this is probably the coolest day we've had so far. Got some rain coming in first thing in the morning. It's supposed to rain pretty much all day tomorrow, which means I've got a few things I need to do. Got a little planting I need to do and a few other little things. Figured I'd take you guys along for the ride. So the first thing we need to do is make our daily move with the girls here, and this is something we do every single afternoon unless it's just flooding outside or unless we're out of town. I usually put them out on the grass somewhere and not in the garden plot. But as long as they're on the garden plots, every afternoon we got to move them. So before we move them, we got to get the water out of here, which looks like they knocked over. We need to fill that up. Get the food out of here. Put a little scoop in here. There y'all go. Get back in there. And we'll prop up the rear end of our chicken tractor with our chick lift here. And we'll go for a little short 8-foot ride. Set the chicken tractor back down on the ground and get them some fresh water put back in there. And lastly, see if we got any eggs in here. Start to slow down a little bit, only got 2 today. That's better than none. So these chickens only have one more day before they complete 3 full rounds on this plot. So tomorrow they'll take care of that little piece right there, and then we'll make the move over there where the good stuff is. And here where we've got the good stuff, this overwintering mix that we planted a month or so ago, it is filled in pretty good. Got a few little tiny gaps there, but we got pretty much complete soil coverage at this point. When old Nicole came through here, she laid some of this stuff down a little bit, but it has started to stand back up. It looks a lot better than it did just a few days ago. So it should stand back up. Just got too wet and windy here for several hours at the time, and it laid some of that taller stuff down, but shouldn't be a weed thriving in there, and this is going to be some really good nutritious stuff for our chickens. So the chickens are really excited about getting on this plot right here, and I'm really excited about getting the chickens on this plot, because when we have them grazing these nice cool season cover crops, that means our chicken food bill goes down significantly. So once we put them on here, we really won't be giving them any chicken food, at least for their first time around on this plot. Now, as they wear it down a little bit, we'll start introducing a little bit of chicken food back to the mix. But as long as there's plenty of vegetation here for them to eat, that's what they will eat. As I've told you before, this stuff out here is a lot more nutritious than chicken food is. So we'd rather them eat this than the chicken food when we have it for them to eat. And speaking of chicken food, since we know it's almost certainly going to rain tomorrow, it would be a great time to plant some more of that chicken food right here in this plot where we were going to put our garlic. We're now just going to put a cover crop. So we've got 10 more pounds here of this overwintering mix from green cover seed. We've got our inoculant that came with it, and all we got to do is mix this up, wet it down a little bit, and we'll get it strode out here on this plot, rake it in, and then since this is a no-till plot, we'll pack it in with the lawnmower tires. All right, we got that seeded, raked, and packed in there for some good seed to soil contact. And I'm glad we went over it with the lawnmower tires because we had a lot of chunks out there. That compost had got a little chunky as it had dried out a little bit. So the lawnmower tires kind of helped pack everything down, get everything nice and smooth again. So hopefully we can get some of that good free water tomorrow, and probably still have to give it a little water later this week to get this up and germinated. Now, the first plot of this overwintering mix that we planted that I showed you earlier, I was able to get that up and going in about 3 or 4 days. It's a lot cooler now than it was then, so this is probably going to take a little longer to germinate. I don't think it's going to be cold enough to inhibit germination. I think it's just going to take a little longer, probably looking at 7 or 8 days or so. Now the next thing we need to do, assuming we're going to get some rain tomorrow, is replant this parsnip bed right here. So we messed up here and planted some old seeds plus some new seeds. The old seeds didn't germinate, the new seeds did, as you can see right there. Now in this part of this double row over here, we got a few popping up there, but this is pretty much a scratch. I'd rather almost just replant this whole row right here, and then we have a whole double row to plant right here. So I got some more seeds here. Got these from True Leaf Market. Now this is a different variety than we have planted right here. This variety is called Javelin, what we grew last year. This variety here is called Hollow Crown Parsnip. I don't know much about it, but I was on True Leaf site getting some mustard cover crop seed that we're going to plant where our ochre is now, and they're the only ones that carries that particular mustard mix. Since I was already ordering for them, I just went in and got some parsnip seeds. So that's why we switched varieties, and they had a pretty good deal on these. I got a lot of seeds here for not a whole lot. I can't remember how much this was, but it wasn't much at all. So we'll start here by kind of remaking our individual little furrows for our double row. Just going to make a little mini furrow on each side of this drip tape that we have down here. I can kind of see where that tape is. Okay, so we've got one there, and then the tape is right there, so we'll do the other one right here on the other side of the tape. And then, like I said, I'm going to scratch this row here, or the majority of it. We'll just replant this entire piece right here. And I know we don't have to worry about running out of seeds here. We got plenty of seeds. So we can plant them thick, and hopefully we get the whole bed looking like that right there. So we're just going to put down a heavy sprinkle all along here. Alright, we got those put down thick there. Now let's just cover them up here lightly. Alright, there we go. So now with a little bit of rain and some patience, because even with new good parsnip seeds, they're going to take 2-3 weeks to germinate sometimes. So a little bit of rain, a little bit of patience, it'll eventually all look like that. Now the last thing we need to do, since we're already out here at the backyard grocery store, is do a little grocery shopping. Now I told y'all several videos ago that if you ain't eating greens at least once a week, you ain't living right. And I'm hoping a lot of you took my advice and have had some greens since then. But if you haven't, let this be a further warning. You need to be eating your greens this time of year. If you can eat greens twice a week, that's real good, but just at least make sure you eat greens once a week. So as far as what we've been eating, we've already ate one mess of rutabaga greens. We've eaten a lot of kale from that bed right there. Eat a pretty good sized mess of collards from this bed right here. And then today, we're gonna gather some of these good groceries right here. Now I've told y'all many times how these Savannah mustard greens right here are the best eating mustard greens you'll find. And I've really been enjoying hearing stories from people who have grown them for the first time this year and are verifying just that they are really tasty. Now in addition to these tasting good, they're also a heck of a lot easier to clean. So they kind of grow upright, as you see here. Almost kind of looks like a celery plant. So you don't have leaves real close to the ground there. They don't get a lot of soil splashed on them. Everything up here is nice and clean. The leaves are also relatively flat there, so you don't get a lot of dirt and nooks and crannies like you do a curly leaf mustard. I have cleaned many a curly leaf mustard, in my day, and these right here take a lot less time to just rinse off and be ready to throw in a pot. And when we're harvesting these, we do this a good bit different than we do something like collards or kale. So with collards and kale, we're plucking off a few leaves, leaving some big leaves at the top. With these, you just bunch all the leaves together and then cut them all at one time, just like that. So we don't have to leave a bunch of big leaves at the top, just leave that kind of stump right there. Those leaves will grow back and we'll have more to harvest in just a few weeks. So that's what they should look like there. Once you're done cutting them, I went ahead and cut all mine, and we got 2 nice full bags there. Now, one important thing to consider when harvesting a mess of these to cook is just how much they're going to wilt down when you're cooking them. So these Savannah mustard greens are pretty tender. They're going to wilt down a lot more than something like a collard green or even something like cabbage or kale might. So you're going to need a lot more of these than you think you're going to need. I could probably eat this whole bag right here myself by the time it's wilted down. We put these 2 together. We probably won't have any leftovers tonight, but we're going to eat good with what we have here. So make sure you harvest more than you think you're going to need, because these will wilt down a bunch. So it's good to get our daily chores done and a few other things in preparation for the rain that's hopefully going to come in the morning. And then after that rain comes, after it rains all day tomorrow, it's going to cool off pretty significantly down here in South Georgia, and we got quite a few things we need to do. So once the chickens are off that plot, we got to move them to the new cover crop plot. Then we can plant our garlic over there, so we'll be doing that on one of the next coming videos. We got our fall taters, may get a freeze later on this week. If we're planning to get a freeze, we might go ahead and dig those fall taters. Got a lot going on around here, even though it's going to be a little cold and wet. And if you're a big fan of Savannah mustard greens like myself, let me know about it in the comments below. That way anybody out there who's on the fence about growing this particular variety can see what you have to say about it and make up their mind. As always, if you're watching on YouTube, you can find links in the description below to any of the products we talked about or used on this video. You can also find links to our affiliate partners and some coupon codes to give you some discounts for some of those companies. Don't forget to go check out our website, lazydogfarm.com, where we've got our garden blog, recipes, hats, shirts, all kind of good stuff over there. If you did enjoy the video, be sure to subscribe, hit that notification button, like, and share. And we'll see you next time right here at Lazy Dog Farm.
Oh, farewell. By the beauty of your life,